I just want to talk a little bit more about what Dr. Carl Rogers is talking about here when he talks about the incongruency of the self-concept and the actual self, and how that can cause emotional problems. And I actually have a course on the congruency of the therapeutic alliance, which you might want to take a look at. But when it comes to congruency and incongruency, I just want to explain a little bit more. Because really, I only explained because I had to dig back to my high school geometry almost when we were talking about triangles with the right triangle. If we know the distance of the base, two triangles, they are congruent, which means they can sit on top of each other. So when it comes to congruency, yeah, my two hands are congruent, where they cover each other, okay? And now they're incongruent. They're not covering each other. Now they're congruent, they're incongruent, you know. So if there's an incongruency between the clients, or ourselves even, but the client's self-image and how they're actually, in the real life experience, actually living their life, if there's an incongruency there, it can cause emotional problems, psychological problems, even mental disorders. Let me give you an example. The individual, in this case it could be a woman, actually this is a real life example, who thought that, oh, I'm a good mom, she said. Okay, but let's say it's a father. He says, oh, I'm a good father. But in both cases, if they showed up for their probation office report and tested positive for marijuana in their urine toxicology screening, they were going to go to jail, back to jail, actually, for 30 days. So when we get into developing discrepancies there, there's a discrepancy and there's an incongruency between being a good mother, being a good father, because you can't be a good parent from jail, okay? And but you know, I'm a good mom, I'm a good father, you know, but if you're going to test positive for marijuana or your toxicology screening at your probation office report, you're going to jail for 30 days. So we got to work to keep you out of jail. Let's start there, okay? So, but also if there's an incongruency between the whole therapeutic alliance of what the client wants to accomplish and what we think they should do to what they should be accomplishing, there has to be a congruency there where we can't say to our clients, listen, what you need to do is you need to stop using drugs, you need to get your life together. What are you, an idiot? Now, we know what they need to do, but we can't tell them what they need to do because they're going to be resistant to that. So we have to identify what they want to work on and then try to tie those two things. There has to be a congruency between what the patient wants to do, the client wants to do, and we want to help them do that. Okay, so, but I'm going to talk about incongruency, or being congruent later on in the course when it comes to resistance management. But I just want you to be aware of that concept in your own counseling skills. Okay, but you can see how what Dr. Rogers was pointing out, that for the individual client, there has to be a congruency between what they want to do and how they live their lives and the goals that they want to achieve, and we want to be able to help them achieve what their goals, and how they have to behave and act to be successful at achieving their treatment plan goals. Okay, all right. Content is what a patient or anyone will say, and process or feelings are something that a patient or an individual feels. Now, you heard me use that word congruent, okay? Is what people say and what people feel always congruent? And I can see, because you guys can't see it on the film, everybody, all my students are shaking their heads like this, right? Because no. So as counselors, you got to be able to differentiate between what someone is saying and what someone is feeling. And someone could be feeling something, and you can pick up on that, and they may not be saying anything. They may not be saying anything, but you can look at them, and you can know that something's going on with them. Remember, we're looking for smoke. There could be smoke going on over here, and they may not be saying anything. Or, like what Alicia said, what about the patient who's not saying anything? Who's not saying anything and doesn't want to say anything? I'm okay. I don't want to say anything today. I'm good. Is that patient good? No. Okay. So that you have to be aware. If you're not aware of that, I can't see that happening, but a counselor may, okay, let's move on and move on to somebody else and not acknowledge the fact that that person is got a wall up and being defended, and there's something going on behind that wall. And you have to be able to help them come on to the side of the wall where everybody else is and be able to talk about what's really going on with them. But you also have to know that there's something wrong first. Okay, so that's the difference between content and process. And in group and in individual counseling, those are two things that are going on all the time. Recovery is a process of change. Just want to discuss that a little bit more because I use that with clients in a group setting, and I ask the clients to see if they can identify something in their behavior or their thinking or that they need to change, something that they're doing that's not working for them. But for us as clinicians, the word process is a word we use a lot. And I have the clients look that up, and I have my students look that up when I do these trainings. But process is a series of steps or actions to achieve a specific goal or objective. Now, what does that sound like? Sounds like a treatment plan to me. So recovery is a process of change. And we're going to discuss that and change a little bit more as we go along through this training course. Okay? All right. This is the spirit of motivational interviewing, and I found that it works very well. Over the years, and interviewing thousands of addicts, early recovery, and just regular patients, I found that the patient wants us to be genuinely present in the therapeutic alliance, which we're going to identify in this workshop. They want us to be there. They want us to be present in the therapeutic alliance. Now, if you drift off, if you think about something else, shopping, girlfriends, boyfriends, anything else, they will know, and then you've lost them. So you have to be focused and present in the therapeutic session. And that's what patients want. They want you to be genuinely present. And that is the spirit of motivation. It's a way of being in the therapeutic relationship.